Flat Earth British, he's speaking. Yeah, hi guys. So I was going to do a vlog here. Now, when I started off this site, it was to be a support to Martin. I just wanted to put my energy into what he was doing because I was just so impressed by what he was doing, and it just occurred to me that sometimes with some of his vlogs, there's stuff that I just see in it. Not all the time, because we both have a different perspective on not a difference as in in the sense of an opposite. We just have a different perspective on things, but we're definitely on the same page, that's for sure. And so with some of his videos, I've just thought to myself, well, there's things that I can see that in what he's presenting to us and showing us. And so, seeing as initially what I wanted to do in the first place was to sort of be kind of like a support, because okay, yeah, he's got subscribers and they do comments and stuff like that, but I just felt that more could be done to help him out, and that's why I started the channel in the first place. But I was just thinking today, when I was watching this particular vlog that he did, that there was just so much in it that I just couldn't let it go. Okay? So what this vlog's going to be, and hopefully Martin won't copyright me, I'm just going to play his video and a vlog rather on silent and just do a talk over. Okay, if that's all right with the police. This really struck me. This was Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk brought up this picture to all of our attention on Flat Earth British, and to begin with, I saw it. I didn't really think that much of it, but then as Martin is showing on this, it's he just drew my attention to it. And before I'd actually when I got to this point, like 10 minutes and 21 seconds, what I saw personally, that this was like the ice wall, yeah, and all of this out here actually was in fact this map, yeah, but somehow sort of like brought into the confines of this timepiece, if you like, if indeed that was even its original purpose. But that's actually what I saw. I didn't see this as a kind of astronomical clock at all. Of course, it does seem to be a timepiece as such, and yes, you have got the Earth, you have got the Moon, and I know perhaps that is the Sun, because this isn't a heliocentric model, is it? This is a tear model, but definitely, I think that it was this, but that's just my perspective on it. But it is strange that this part is actually moving, but this part isn't. When you go for the whole argument about the shutter speed on ancient cameras and stuff and all that, okay, which is a convenient lie, because that's inconsistent, especially if you watch Martin. Ooh, it's a bit low quality now. See, I'm in the garden at the moment, so I'm struggling for bandwidth. Nope, no, it doesn't like that at all. Okay, it's 480 at least. Come on, you can do it. Oh well. Okay, I'm just stuck with that at the moment. Obviously, I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description, so it's definitely worthwhile having a look. But anyway, as I was saying, this is definitely in movement in whichever way. You know, it's hard to tell, but this part clearly is not. Okay? But what's also worth mentioning as well is that this construct itself, okay, probably could have existed who knows how long before a civilization has come along and then imprinted the numbers on that particular building to make it a clock. Martin's saying here that this is the recent up to date. The building still exists, and as you can see, as before, they've they've disguised it. They've made it into something that it initially wasn't. Okay, so here's an example of modern day, what they were doing back then, where they kind of like put all this gubbins in. I mean, as you can see, this is very clear. You've got good definition. This is new, and again, back to modern day, and the building surprisingly still exists. Again, it's all very new. Let's just wait a second. Yeah, it's all very new. It's all very clean. So again, it's another era. It's another a cover up of our history, and that's what's going on here. So this is a modern take on an old practice of disguising what these buildings from antiquity really, what their real function was. So take a good look. I must admit, it's rather clever that they've afforded the the movement of this outer ring here, where it was blurred, where I showed you earlier, okay, which was probably something like this, yeah, and they've just put the constellations of the zodiac in there. Okay, so very clever, very ingenious, and very deceptive. Even from the last image, you can see this almost looks as if it's authentic to the rest of the building. But this is the kind of stuff that we're up to. Sorry, up against. This is the kind of stuff that we're up against. You see. Ironically, Martin and Captain Kirk, or if it was somebody else that Martin was talking to, they did this presentation of the flat Earth. It's almost as if we're all kind of like trying to connect our higher understanding to understand actually what was going on. Okay? Which, I mean, there you are. So, yeah, we're all on the same page there. Excuse me a moment. By the way, I want that watch. I hope there's a competition for it. But yeah, you know, here we go again. You know, it's obviously at speed. Okay, I don't buy the shutter speed nonsense at all. Okay, I just don't. But as to what its original function was, not entirely sure. But yeah, you could surmise that yeah, the outer ring is moving because it's depicting the dome and the stars within the dome that's constantly in a kind of like rotation. You know, of course, but unfortunately, our knowledge is limited as to what was going on in the past. So, this again, you know, I'm going to leave a link anyway, because this vlog of Martin's is really worth watching. Right. I might just move on a little bit at this point. Okay, so now just adjust my monitor because I'm in a garden. I'm getting a reflection from the sun. Okay, so gosh, it's really difficult to see actually. Yes, you know the video, the vlog that Martin did before this particular one. He was talking about these towers and how they've been over. I'm not sure how long. Okay, they've all been filled in. I mean, I think currently today you've just kind of got like 3 or 4 foot slits in them, and the actual ground level here, when we look at it today, as what it says in this particular vlog, the ground level is actually about here. And what he was going to say in the last video is that the from the pinnacle of these towers, okay, when you go from the pinnacle to these towers down to about this point, let's just say, just for say sakes for this presentation, that this was 4 centimeters, okay, and then like from this point here, and then you go down, you've got maybe 12 centimeters, and then when he pulls up a modern day, because amazingly this building still exists, okay, he brings up a modern photograph of it. What you see is you've got like the 4 centimeters right to this point, but from here down to the new ground level, yeah, it's like 2 centimeters, no, or 3.5 centimeters. So what you've got is the pinnacle point down to here at this age, at this time, okay, which was the shorter part, in modern day actually becomes the longer part, because this part here, yeah, it doesn't go all the way down to this ground level, because now today the ground level has risen so much higher, yeah, that all this part here and here is buried, and so the top part actually appears to be the actual distance from there to there is actually longer. Okay, just carry on. So I think he didn't quite make that point, but that's why I'm here to help out. So if you go back to the previous video to this, where he brought this whole subject up, yeah, you'll understand what he meant. Or at least the time that he had to do it anyway, because it is all about, not that I agree with time, availability. You know, it is all about availability, and you know, certainly Martin has been struggling with being available to do as much as he's doing. I mean, you have to realise that 90% of his time, when it comes to Flat Earth British and the stuff that he's showing up, 90% of the time is actually research, and then 10% of the time is actually doing the vlogs. Yeah, so you know, when it actually comes to the 10%, you know, it's got the you know, the important stuff as as for the presentation, but it's not actually being able to put into it all of the hours of research. So,
Video or you're talking?
no, I'm talking. I'm just doing a vlog thing because that's not very hot, really. It's about 200. So, and you're not hungry anyway, so just letting it go slow. I'll just do this while I'm here. You know. I haven't done anything for a couple of days, so. Yeah. Fan of a fan of a fan. Excuse me. I'll put it out. It's not fruit. It's not fruit, is it? It's just some kind of odd flat. I'll just pull it out and plant it.
But this one's like it's dying, or?
Well, you should swap them over so that gets a bit more sun, and then that, you know, you should swap them over because that's like trying to get the sun, but it's only getting the afternoon sun where it's not quite as potent, you know. But that is getting it all. But then you prefer that one because the fruit tastes better. Oh, is it? Okay. Right, can you just excuse me because I'm in the middle of thank you. Yeah. So I saw this. Okay. I think I've got a live thing coming up on Saturday morning, which hopefully I'm going to be able to get involved in. But you know, just note on this particular building. I don't think Martin's going to zoom in on this, as I remember. But as you can see, you know, the arch is just brick, 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 brick. You know, it's just one continuous circle. Okay, so that's functional. Yeah, you don't need to add anything to this because this is quite functional. Yeah, so if you're with Martin on the sun and moon thing on Saturday morning, and hopefully Wise Up as well, it would be epic. And if even Nick from Phuket could get on, it would probably be the best live event ever to ever have happened or ever will happen. Yeah. But yeah, just know, you know, just there is no necessity to change or add anything to these kind of arches. You know, it's functional, it works, it's supportive. I'm just need a sip of something. My throat's drying up. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so just take note for Saturday. Okay, carry on. Can't quite remember the time frame that Martin gave for this. I'm guessing he said 1800s or something like that. Oop. Just wait for this to come back. This particular type of architecture that you see, not so much here, but more here. Yeah, I've seen this in London, and but generally, what you see in London is you don't really have these. I can't really see if it's quite small, but they look like pillars there. But generally, what you see in London, especially at the new ground level that we have, is that these all interconnect. Yeah, all this weird. This is a little bit. This is a little better. So, but you've got that pillar there. Just remove those pillars and kind of imagine that all these lines connect. Yeah, it's like that. And definitely in London, all of the kind of architecture where you've got the like gargoyles and what we call the Green Man and all that kind of stuff seems to be built on top of this type of architecture. So I think where you see this kind of stuff, okay, I think Martin mentioned it, I think civic buildings tend to be like this. Okay? But what I've observed is that these kind of brickage, if you like, is always the first level, and then the stuff that I've just said about with the reliefs and everything seem to be built on top. But no, as to whether that means that this kind of architecture, which has no reliefs whatsoever in it, was an earlier part of our history, I'm not entirely sure, but I just wanted to point that out. You know, looking at this, we've got a bit of a pyramid here, and it's probably. I wish I could zoom in. Probably got some figurines here, people of the upper world, perhaps. But then this all kind of conforms. You've got conformity here. But then you look at this level here, and it's quite different. But I can't really see. Let's carry on. The thing about this particular image here, okay, is you've got some steppage. Yeah, you've got some steppage there, so you've got like split levels and stuff like that. Okay, so when Martin was bringing up the Piranesi, if I pronounced that correctly, that kind of stuff. Yeah, these buildings are of the same era, and of course, when we was looking at all that Piranesi stuff, there's a huge amount of mud floodage going on. That the ground level was much higher. Okay, and when you look at his stuff, you've got all of these steps going up to a new level, to build a new community, to make these constructs from a previous reset habitable. So this is always a clue. Anyway, zoom in. This guy's amazing. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously, we just saw all of the steppage going on, the split leveling and everything. And, as we've seen from Piranesi, pronounced that correctly, you probably didn't. What you'll notice is all of these kind of constructs are sort of falling apart and broken and all kinds of stuff like that. But when you look at this image, you can see that looks all pretty good, So there's definitely been some renovation going on at this point. And then, and then you've got this image. Now, if you go back, sort of 10, 15 minutes ago, when I was going into that clock that Captain Kirk had brought up to Martin, and you see how they'd changed the function, they'd changed what it was saying originally. It's not beyond comprehension that's what's going on here. I mean, that just has no function whatsoever. But this is what they do anyway. Yeah. Recently, I was just looking at the going into the Russian sites and everything, and they've kind of come to a halt. Really, you can't get any further between the atmospheric electricity that existed in the mid 1800s to the beginning of the 1900s. They don't seem to be getting much beyond that at the moment. But what I did find, which was quite interesting, is I did notice, as Martin said, that the star faults were always situated within a riverbed, in some way, or if you had some kind of like modern photos, of today, where there doesn't appear to be any water around, like I think it was in India. It's just the most amazing star fault you've ever seen in your life. I mean, the scale of it is just beyond anything that it just makes the Great Pyramids look like I don't know, a sandcastle on the beach. I mean, it's so pathetic by comparison of this particular star fault in India. Yeah, but it's set up in a mountain. But then, so what I did is that I researched that particular area back in the past, and indeed there was a river that ran through it. So anyway, back to the Russian site, and what I just recently read, just a comment on a particular video about this, was that the star faults themselves, it was all to do with flooding. It was a fortress against flooding. Yeah, so they deliberately built it into rivers or streams. however it was at that time when they actually constructed these things. And then on the flip side, they were able to put in a mechanism similar to a windmill, you know, but like a water mill, like that. So they was able to utilise, because they had the stream or river, you know, which they built these star forts in the middle of. Yeah, they was able to harness the power of nature, as it were, to generate. Um, I don't think it was electricity. It was just a power. It was just natural power. They just used, you know, the river, the current of the river, the force of the river. And you know, if you go onto Captain Kirk's site, I'll leave a link in a description for him as well. You know, he's brought up some ancient books with descriptions of exactly how they utilised water to um, to do drilling or sawing or pounding, you know, all kinds of stuff by using cogs sort of attached to like water wheels and stuff like that. Anyway, let's carry on. Saw that mention. Now, obviously, you know, here you've got a lot of plantage around and stuff like that because they've got an excess of water, haven't they? You know? So they're using that, and no doubt. I mean, I can't really see very clearly, but there's probably like water fountains and stuff like that. But again, you're just using the force, the pressure of the river. And incidentally, you know, you can probably, if you live in somewhere like Canada or something like that, is generate free electricity, basically, you know, just through water. Oh God, that was quick. I don't know what that was. I haven't given it too much thought, but when I saw that, I saw a propeller. No, it could be that in Antiquity they used, you know, the natural form of things. Yeah, they saw in nature. You know, so they quite possibly could have, you know, if there was some kind of you know, a plant or something like that. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what these are exactly, but I just saw that and I saw a propeller, and I thought, well, you could, if you wanted, you know, dry something out that had this form in nature, dry it out, you know, perhaps add stuff to it so it becomes solid, you know, and then, you know, you've got a function when you apply it to something else in nature. So you could stick that, for example, in a river, yeah, and it's going to be spinning around, yeah, and then you can attach some cogs to it or whatever, yeah, and that's it. You've got free energy. See what I mean? So that's clear to me because of the limited knowledge that we're given about stuff. But perhaps in the same way, this, and this, you know, could be utilised in the same way, perhaps for the same reason, or perhaps a different one. I mean, that's elaborate, wasn't it? I mean, look at that. Oh, we are spinning through. Can't keep up. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely astounding. I mean, look, even mine, he sort of like, you know, grabbed his chin then, you know, just like stopped. He probably stopped mid sentence at that point. mean, yeah, look at that. The thing about these, the problem is about these is that you've got these steps going up, yeah, and then I think Martin actually mentioned it. You've got these little like vents here. Well, hold on, just come back in a sec. So, this is, these buildings are post mud flood. Yeah. So, whichever one that was, okay. But I'm still hoping that Martin's going to do the time frame thing, as it were. But this is post, from the last reset. Yeah. So whatever function that originally had, it's not what it appears to be even at this time. And if this building exists today, it would probably be even more unrecognizable. I mean, all this stuff would probably be bricked up. Yeah. So, perhaps it could be something to do with atmospheric electricity. It could have, somehow harnessed it from, somehow understood to a degree what was going on before, and they've all come in. They said, "Oh, this is a nice place," and look, we feel weird when we go in, and look, there's lightning sort of like jumping from wall to wall and stuff like that. And so, someone with half a brain, or the elite survivors that survived, this reset, sort of popped in and sort of renovated to a degree, gave them a little bit of understanding, but not all. And then this new resetted community, kind of like as best that they could, try to restart what was going on before, but to a lesser degree. And as you can see, it clearly isn't a place to live, and it clearly is because of all the steppage, and because of the the windows or vents or whatever that's down here. You know that there's been a mud flood. Because when I looked at this, it just made no sense to me when I looked at church around today, and how it all forms and everything like that. And I saw all these things in there, and I'm thinking, well, no, it's not the same technology. Why is that there? The three balls. We see these on the top of buildings, a bit like that. It's a mishmash. Some of this is a remnant after the mud flood. Some of this is remnant. But then these people have built all of this steppage, as you can see here, trying to disguise the mud flood, whatever, and then they've added stuff in, to try and, I don't know, either disguise the original purpose or just to try and harness somehow with their limited information to restart the function of what this originally had. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it just makes no sense. And I'm pretty much guessing that all of this grid system here and stuff was probably added at some time. All of this silliness here was put in, and all the glass was all put in as well, all here. No, that's not that. if that was like tiles or slate or stuff like that, that wouldn't survive the catastrophe that had happened that destroyed this at the last reset at that time. I mean, there may have been another reset after this, but I don't know. Still waiting for Silent D to give us a time frame. And of course, you wouldn't have a waterfall on a roof at all, would you? It just wouldn't be. And they look like chimneys, but is that what they are? I mean, if you look, I mean, this is a tower that's behind this building. Why would you have two chimneys each side of the tower? Why? Okay, you've got chimneys there, chimney there. Okay, all right, I'll drop that. But that and a fleur de lis on the top. You just wouldn't have it, would you? You just wouldn't put like a garden ornament waterfall thing on top of a roof. It just doesn't make any sense at all, does it? And just to begin with, when you look at the construct, and it comes up to this point, why would you stick that on the top anyway? This is Smithsonian shenanigans, as it were. That's a modern term for it. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a garden as such. But nevertheless, you've got this circuit. You've got a circuit here, a circuit there, a circuit there, and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if you've watched the film Iron Man. I can't remember which one it was, but the father had I can't remember the guy, Iron Man's father. He'd actually created a blueprint of like a theme park and stuff like that, but actually within the blueprint of the theme park was the design for a new element. Okay, so that's what this is. Okay, all the pattern, all the symbology, which I was saying in my last vlog. Yeah. Yeah, this is not accident. There's no accident at all here. This is a blueprint. Like Martin said, it looks like a circuit board. Somewhat elaborate for a dwelling place, wouldn't you say? Now, this, is the foundation of a mechanism these are mechanisms. They have a function. Yeah, all this patternage. Yeah. And again, oh, so flick through so quickly. I have to be quick this time. Incidentally, when you see the fleur-de-lis, I mean, in modern times now they've changed these leaves into feathers. Okay, but when these are depicted, they're leaves, and you have a band around. Okay, so if you just with an open mind look at it, what you can see is you've got nature, yeah, harnessed, bound. Yeah, so that is a symbol of power of nature being harnessed. That's what the fleur-de-lis was. But of course, today it's all hidden, and now the leaves have become feathers, and even sometimes you won't even have a band going around them. But this is just telling you that these originally were somehow using the power of nature to generate something. Okay, I mean, I stopped it here for some reason. But yeah, I mean, I had to do this vlog based on this particular vlog of mine. It was just so amazing. Oh. Let's go a bit. Oh, stop. I don't know, Ninja Star, something like that. No, you want. I mean, look at it. Look. Yeah. I mean, we call them star. Well, we're told to call these star faults. Yeah. But really, I mean, who knows how many resets have happened, and you've got these people come along and they're making these crude weaponage. I mean, it's just pathetic, isn't it? Really, And we're supposed to just swallow the historical narrative that the people that built those constructs, such as those machines we were looking at earlier, and star faults, when it comes to war, this is the best that they can come up with. Wooden branches with pointy bits at the end, crude wheels. Really. And this is evolution, is it? If you believe in that crap. Yeah, they can build all this kind of stuff, but they can't build weapons of war. Again, another alternative, Martin's saying here, you've got this sort of like high technology going on. I did say earlier that this was all to do with water. So there's two options here. You can say, well, yes, they harnessed the power of water into these star faults to such a degree that they advanced. If you want, sort of liken it to the Industrial Revolution, if you want. But they, you can come from that viewpoint and say, well, yes, they became so advanced they were able to build tower blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-story buildings, and then this on the top. I mean, who builds a block of flats and then you have all of this steeplage on the top? I mean, because that's what we're told to believe. These are just kind of like steeples and stuff. I mean, why would you build all that on top of a block of flats? I mean, think about this makes any sense. With our education, when we apply what we've been taught and look at stuff like this that Martin keeps bringing up. You know, so that's one side. That's one interpretation of this, and the second interpretation is that these aren't in fact dwelling places because, well, I mean, let's look at it. Apart from that part there and a couple of buildings there where people possibly could live, where are they going to live in these? They're clearly not houses, are they? We just take it all in. I mean, look at it. And we can see that we've got the water here, we've got water here. I mean, I can't quite see how exactly. I mean, this looks like a body of water that's just contained. I can't see an inlet or an outlet from these two bodies of water at all. And certainly within this part, there isn't any water. Yeah. So, why the... But this is our history that's been hidden from us. Wasn't taught about this at school, was you? Oh, it's so quick. Be quick. In modern day, this would be called a church, a house of worship, etc. Again, this has existed before a mud flood or a flood or a catastrophe, because you've got steppage going up into there. There's no chimney. I mean, it just doesn't look like a house of worship of God. I mean, it just doesn't say anything about God at all, does it? You've got all this. Yeah. How does that say God? It just doesn't, does it? I mean, it's quite clear it's some kind of a machine. I can't see what's on the top there. That might give us a clue as to what this was doing, but I've got a little cross there, but the cross isn't biblical anyway. It's not even in the Bible, so unless you've got a modern translation from a limited company that makes money from printing books. Changed it from tree to cross. Well, again, you wouldn't have waterfalls on top of a building. Again, mud flood. Sorry. You can see the length of these windows, and then you've got this platform here, and then below you've got like a millimetre. These probably 2 centimetres. Just saying that for visually, as you're looking at it, these are like 2 centimetres, perhaps 2.5, and then you've got half a centimetre there. So this is pre-reset, and they've come in and done what they've put all this nonsense in the windows. Who knows? Who knows what they were doing, what they were trying to do to reanimate the function that this previously had. you know, I mean, if you look at the rooms here, you know, it's just like, what? Who would live there exactly? Who would live there? You know, so bathroom, a toilet, another toilet, a living room, another toilet, a bathroom, a bedroom, a lounge, a big bedroom, you know, men's cubicle, you know, what's that? What's that? What's this area? You know, just really, really, this is a hotel, is it? You know, how does that work? Yeah, how does that work? And the answer is, it doesn't. Oh dear, it's funny. Yes, I mean that part is curious. You know, when you first look at these and you think, oh yeah, yeah, sort of like garden waterfalls and stuff like that. You know, water's going to cascade off the top. Yeah, I'd like to know how they get the water up there in the first place for it to cascade. But then you've got this one up here, yeah, and then you've got, I don't know, the elements of the sky. I thought that was Dieu, as in French, as in God. Contemplate and the sky and God, the earth. I can't see. Can't see the rest of it. You know, but clearly, you know, this is working with nature. You know, I just do not know. You know, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough yet. But I'm sure that's an old word for God. Dieu en français. But again, you know, this has been doctored, isn't it, after the next reset, because it's a mud flood, it's a pre-mud flood, or whatever catastrophe. Lyon. Lyon. But as Martin pointed out in this, you know, how many churches and cathedrals do you need in a town? But again, you know, if you look at these sort of undulating hills and stuff like that, it's post catastrophe, isn't it? World catastrophe. I wish I had this folder. That'd be great. There's some amazing photographs there and illustrations. Look at all those folders. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. where are we going now? Droll rum. Well, I'll speed up a bit. Oh yeah, this is the part about the distinct lack of people, and there are a few reasons given. One is the shutter speed of a camera, which is rubbish because I've seen photos, and Martin has as well. Just stop it there at that point. Now, I've seen photos of the same area where you've got plenty of people just sort of like standing around, walking around, stuff like that. That's clearly not the case at all. And then the second argument about the lack of people in all of these Victorian photographs is that they were always taken like on Sunday early morning, sort of like in the summer about, I don't know, 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Well, I can't say that's not the case, but I just find it incredible that of all the people all over the world, across the world, rather, that have taken photos around that time in their cities, that all of them waited until 5:30 or 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning to take their photographs. Sorry, no. But what I didn't notice about this particular pre-reset building was that hole there, because I think it was Wise Up who mentioned on a post or something. It was something to do with this. I mean, this guy's been in all of this stuff for years. He's like Big Daddy. Yeah. He was like 3 years ago. He's on about atmospheric electricity and stuff like that in Antiquity. When no one was talking about it. And he did mention vents. I can't remember the context. And I went to the Houses of Parliament a couple of months ago to sort of look at these kind of towers on the Houses of Parliament, and I did see that these towers were completely hollow and they had no floors or anything in them, and it's almost as if they were venting out something. Yeah. And then when I saw this video vlog, and I saw that, I thought, oh, something was vented out with too much power and smashed it out. Yeah, and there it is. Yeah, look at it. Look. Yeah, let's carry on. Oh yeah, the other thing I've mentioned before is why are all of these shop fronts out in Victorian times? Mud flood. You can see that. Yeah. So this is a considerable amount of time after. Yeah. The catastrophe that's happened to the world. Because even here, they've got pavement. They've got might be, I don't know, cobblestone roads. Yeah, so this is a considerable amount of time later. Oh, look, it's people. I guess they were just standing still for 7 minutes while the person took this photograph. It's just rubbish. But as you can see, windowage here and here. Yeah. Time frames. Anyway, let's carry. Why is it all blackened out? Yeah. How are you going to sell anything if you can't see through the windows of the shop? If this is a shop, stock clear. Stock clear. Buy out. I don't know what, because I can't see what you sell. Or you. Or you. Or you. I mean, this is. I keep seeing this recently. I mean, this is very curious. You know, why have you got these in the pillars? I mean, but if you follow, you're following it down. Yeah, it's bigger here, like a tree. Gets narrower and narrower, and then into these. Yeah, I mean, this part looks like post reset. You know, this part here. But that was probably the top of whatever this construct was originally. You know, but what's that? It looks like it should spin or something, doesn't it? So, but it's all. If I can say the word regulative, no, I can't say it. It's regulating energy in some way. Yeah. But normally we see these in the pre-church buildings. Yeah, normally, but I mean, this is odd. Okay, but do notice this balcony here, balconage. Yeah, it's all part of the whole system. This, yeah, definitely part of the old system, as you can see. It's all. It does seem to be channeling down. Let me just show you. You'll see this in cathedrals and stuff like this. I'm running out of power. I might have to stop soon. This is a tundish. You'll find this in all of the architecture of the churches. I'm just trying to find a good example. Yeah. For example, yeah. So, in the water industry and stuff, if you've got a flood, if you've got too much water in a system or something like that, it'll come out and it'll come into a thing called a tundish. Yeah. So it captures a flow of something. Yeah. Tundish. Stuff like that. Yeah. So say like this is a body of water or a tank or something like that. And it sort of like goes into a tundish and then out. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll see this. It's like this stuff is going into a tundish and then going down. Yeah. It's just part. It's just part of it. I really don't know enough. I just don't know enough. I just don't have the availability to do it. Because when you're looking at stuff like this, does this mean that something's coming out from the earth, going up into the atmosphere, and it's being regulated by these, and regulated by these, or is that one way of going up? And with this is one way coming down because you've got stuff coming into the dishes. A great image for me to go into it, but I'll just make the point. When you go to cathedrals, you'll see that all the time. These ton dishes. Yeah, again, just notice this ventage, blown out. Like Mike said about blowholes, for example, these are blowholes here, and these are all been filled in, building. As Martin, I mean, he's just so great, really. He was saying, like, yeah, they want to, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but stop the function of the machine, by just closing stuff off. Yeah. Now this is, if you see my other vlogs when I talk about the upper world, this is an upper world building. Yeah. Looks like someone from the upper world. Not quite so sure about that. This is an upper world building. Yeah. And it's no coincidence that you've got all that, and then you've got, figurine there. Again, limited. These blowhole things. It's above our dome. Yeah. And then you've got these on the plane above our dome. The power, symbolises their world. It's all there in here. It's just adding it all together. But they deliberately built these buildings like this, so that we could understand, even a simpleton could understand. But unfortunately, like myself, we're beyond being simple in a detrimental way. Excuse me a moment. Okay, I'm back. Hope the power lasts. It just, all those plaques there, just note that they've all been rubbed out, sanded off. Oh, look, it's Jesus. Quite sure what he was saying about that. Oh, just as an example, what I was just saying a moment ago about ton dishes. That's a ton dish, Again, ton dishes. Yeah. So it would appear, at least, with the interior of these constructs, the interior was definitely going down, taking something down into the earth. And then I think when you look at the outside of the buildings, it seems to be the inverse, that things are actually going up and pointing up into the sky as if they were transmitting something. I don't know. I'm sure Martin would agree with this. Just assuming, but as you can see, if you look at the height and then you look at the doorway, that's somewhat excessive for a doorway for such a little person. Yeah. And with these with these bridges, with these gondolas, and they go through. They only just go through when the gondola is standing up, making them go through. So this was an ancient city that's been flooded. I'm sure Martin's covered that before. The only thing about this, I would say, is we've got our dome on flat Earth. We've got a domage. Yeah, there's no triangular stuff going on. Yeah. But this is a time we've got the dome there, where the dome has been pulled back at some point in history. So this was pre us breaking through the dome. What is intriguing is the size of the doorways, which speaks about giants, because certainly I was quite sure that those from above the dome that came down were giants, but it may well be that the giants were actually from below, the mermaid. But it's a work in process. Yeah, that's just a flooded city. It's nothing more. I mean, you just simply wouldn't build a city like that anyway. Why would you build a city like that anyway? In those circumstances, and the answer, of course, is you wouldn't. Again, a person's only going to be probably about that high walking into this building. So why so high? And there, and again up there. Yeah. But I mean, there are many interpretations when you look at that particular photograph. If you were to incorporate the whole thing about giants being around at this point, okay, well, yeah, okay, if this was a ground level, for example, yeah, you can understand that they would need a high door to walk in, yeah. But then, why up here and why up there, And I can assure you that this balcony doesn't protrude very far from these supposed doorways for giants. So, what is the point? It's a balcony. It just doesn't serve a purpose. And as for a place for us, humans to live in, it's not functional at all. But I've said before, and I'm probably going to have to keep going on about it because I'm pretty sure that I'm right. All these sections here, which you think, oh, they're just balconies, they're just sort of, I'm not sure what our modern name is for the little supports that go in between them. I'm pretty sure that these were some kind of cells or batteries or regulators or fuses or something that was part of this whole machine, whatever its original function was. It's just, they're just not ornate. Look at the size of the person to the door. Oh, that was quick. That was quicker. That was even faster. Wow. Again, all this, batteries or fuses. Yeah, that was their function. You know, in between, you know, you could take all of these out. Yeah, all of them out. Yeah, and that would still be quite sturdy and functional because of these pillars. Yeah, you don't need all this architecturally, and they don't look all that either to be ornate. And again, down here, you know, and you can just tell, can't you, that this I don't know if you want to call it sea level or something, was much lower. You know, and this goes much deeper. Yeah, but it's all flooded and hasn't subsided. Oh, it's too fast. Yeah, initially it was photographs like this that made me question, you know, what were actually in the first place. You know, now, I thought to myself, well, I think that within the design of these buildings is actually the function of these buildings, that if you can recognize what it appears to be telling you, you'll understand the function. Yeah, so I mean here this is curious, but you know, we've got our flat earth, you've got the dome, and you've got the world above, but there's no plane above the dome on this particular building, so that's a bit curious. But I think to myself, well, you know, perhaps. I mean, there's so many interpretations, you know, until I've got enough availability to go into it enough. But just looking at this is telling me that this building was about the recognition of the world above, yeah, and somehow it was pre us breaking through. That's for sure. You know, it's pre-breaking through because there's no plane, there's no platform, you know, above these domes. So I don't know. Wow. Click, 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 click. What? Oh. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there, guys, because I'm running out of battery power. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. I know that it says 49 minutes, but it'll probably be like 2 minutes, you know. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you Saturday.